Christopher Columbus discovered tomatoes in Peru in the 15th century. 100 years later, they were introduced in Spain and Naples. Back then, they were about the size of the cherry tomatoes we know today, and their yellow color earned them the name Pomme d'Or, golden apple, in France. Considered poisonous, tomatoes remained a merely ornamental plant for some considerable time. It wasn't until the 18th century when their virtues were discovered. 200 years later, tomatoes have become a common sight on the table. France is currently the 5th largest European tomato producer, just behind Italy, Spain, Greece, and Portugal. The French consume around 14 kilograms of tomatoes per person per year. The west of France represents 33% of the country's production. For the Savéol group, which draws on a long tradition of market gardening, the origin of which dates back to the Middle Ages, it all really began back in the early 1980s. The company resulted from the union of two competing market gardening cooperatives, La Presqu'île and GMB, which share the same values: solidarity, a desire for exchange, a sense of innovation, and a will to achieve progress. By combining commercial forces, the two cooperatives put an end to sterile competition on a saturated local market to explore new horizons together. On one hand, centralization of sales and technical advisory support, underpinned by the creation of the Savéol brand, allows the company to expand into new markets. On the other hand, maintaining decentralized tools, greenhouses, and packing stations gives each vegetable grower a sense of responsibility and an awareness of the common objective, that of developing a high-quality chain from greenhouse to table. Savéol currently grows 70,000 tons of tomatoes, 1,400 tons of strawberries, and 600 tons of cucumbers with a turnover of 142 million euros. The cooperative brings together 130 vegetable growers over a cultivated area of 230 hectares. The brand creates 2,000 jobs directly. Savéol is sensitive to consumer trends, drawing up specifications that guide the research of numerous seed producers throughout the world. New varieties developed are tested in the group's experimental greenhouse. All of these varieties are obtained by natural plant selection, in other words, by crossing parental lines. Savéol's Research and Development Department uses this greenhouse measuring half a hectare to experiment with various varieties. Each year, we experiment with 250 to 300 varieties from all over the world. We are in contact with more than 15 seed producers, whether in Europe, Asia, or Israel. Since its creation, the Market Gardening Group has established a direct dialogue with consumers, tasting juries for the choice of variety, greenhouse and station open days, point-of-sale information, and events. Communication campaigns have allowed the company's bold, enthusiastic, and innovative image to be relayed to the general public. Over the last 30 years, Savéol, together with its vegetable growers, has become more than just a name. It's a referent brand in the standardized world of fruit and vegetables. The group has raised itself to the rank of top tomato producers in France. Savéol, a forerunner in product segmentation in 1994 and consumer sales unit in 1998, currently produces and markets the widest range of tomatoes on the market with over 20 varieties. French and European consumers eat tomatoes almost all year round. Therefore, protected crops are required to meet these demands. So, at Savéol, tomatoes are grown from March to November in a peat and coir-based compost. This is what we call soil-less culture. The plants are protected from parasites present in the soil and the roots develop easily. A computer-controlled micro-irrigation system provides the tomatoes with water so that the plants can be supplied with the right amount of water and nutrients depending on the weather and heat. This means vegetable growers use half the amount of water as for plants grown in soil. It's never too cold in winter and never too hot in summer. This exceptional temperate climate of the Finistère Peninsula assures the consistent quality of Savéol products. From a cultural point of view, Savéol became the first French agricultural organization to embark on organic and integrated crop protection in 1983. This natural and original technique consists in introducing predators into the greenhouse to protect the tomato plants from parasites and thus avoid having to resort to chemical products. Each year, Savéol breeds millions of beneficial insects that are released among all the crops. On arrival, the batches of tomatoes from the various farms are identified and are subject to extensive quality control. The acceptance manager checks for the color of the fruits, their freshness, their firmness, their aspect, size, and sugar content. Each batch is only sent to the packaging lines and only bears the colors of the brand if it complies with Savéol's specifications. Otherwise, it's downgraded or rejected. External controls are also performed, and the cooperative is Global GAP certified. This certification guarantees that environmental and health and safety good practice is complied with. Once an order is taken by the sales department, the order is immediately and carefully prepared for delivery, either in France or abroad, at a temperature controlled by professionals in the vegetable freight services. This express transport means that the tomatoes reach their destination in the freshest possible condition. For Savéol, future prospects are determined by three essential aspects: the establishment of young producers, respect for the environment, and pursuit of innovation. Savéol is committed to growing its fruit and vegetables in harmony with nature whilst meeting consumer expectations.